Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here on this Monday, which is also, of course, the 15th day of July. We are within just a few hours halfway through the month of July already. And on that note, weather wise, a little segue there, we've got a few days. We've got the longest run of the 90s that we've had thus far this summer in our forecast period, and we've got to get through some leftover moisture from Tropical Depression Barry. We'll talk more about that, of course, in much detail in just a few minutes and how it's going to affect our weather possibly and how Louisiana, as hard as it got hit, didn't get hit as bad as what we were fearful when I left you last. Headlines tonight will include not one but two fatal auto accidents in eastern Kentucky, and sadly, one was that involved a McGoffin County man late last night or early this morning when it was actually discovered. We'll take you to the scene. Authorities have just now given me the permission to release his identity as the next of kin have all been notified. I've also got a story about a Sayersville woman being indicted in another county. It goes back to a case that we covered during her initial arrest back in March. And I left you Friday with a lot of mystery and unanswered questions surrounding a single vehicle crash and how it was said to have been related to a golden alert and a stolen vehicle out of Western Kentucky. Well, I've still got some unanswered questions, but there are a different set of questions. So we'll go back and tell you what I've been able to add to that today and figure out after speaking to authorities in LaGrange and here locally. So all that, and I also have a camera tonight at the Sayersville City Council meeting. McGoffin Fiscal Court and Board of Education both meet tomorrow. We've got a full week of programming, as we always do, and some other reports from actually last week, some good reports that we're still working on, so be sure and join us for that. As for tonight's program, the governor has announced that he is calling a special session to deal with, of course, the state pension plan. He says he has a plan. Democrats also said they had actually two on their own accord, neither of which the governor appeared to go for. He says that he believes he has the votes to see that his solution is passed. It wasn't so much finding, they say, according to one of his top aides, the people to vote for it, just getting them all to Frankfort at the same time. So as it stands now, the governor is calling lawmakers back for a special session beginning this Friday at 8 o'clock that morning to consider a bill proposed by the governor that would give some relief, at least for a year, to regional universities and what's been termed quasi-governmental agencies' relief from the dramatic pension cost that, of course, threatened to shut some doors like that of the McGoffin County Health Department, as we've covered on a couple of occasions. This special session, which starts this Friday, is expected to last at least 6 days. His legislative director said that last month there were enough votes they believe to pass. It has taken them till now to get all of those legislators in Frankfort to pass what the governor says is a bill that's been thoroughly vetted and improved with input from legislators since its last attempt. He calls it the only fiscal responsible plan that provides our regional universities and those quasi-government agencies a path to a sustainable future. The pension costs for, of course, those entities went from 49% to 87% as of the 1st of July. A lot of those just simply can't survive that number, that big an increase. The governor's plan, he says, is going to hold them at 49% of their payroll instead of raising it to that 87% for a period of a year. But at the end of that year, public employers are going to have to make a decision whether or not to stay with the Kentucky retirement system at that 87% or to get out of the pension system by making one lump sum payment to clear their liabilities or making installments over the course of 30 years, a payment plan that just essentially increases each year thereafter the first. Democrats, again, say they're opposed. Many Democrats say they're opposed to the plan, presented two bills of their own, which the governor did not care for, to be as simple as possible. Jim Carroll, who is the president of the Kentucky Retirees Association, Government Retirees Association, representing about 15,000 state retirees and active employees, said today that his group was in favor of the Democrats' plan because, unlike the governor's, it does not incentivize employers to leave the system and force what he says was dedicated public employees to lose guaranteed future benefits. It all starts Friday. We'll track it along and see how it goes and who votes for what. With that said, there were two auto fatalities in eastern Kentucky over the course of the weekend since I saw you last. One man from Pike County is dead after a single vehicle crash this morning. It happened around 7:30 on the Zebulon Highway. Troopers say that 42-year-old Anthony Varney of Raccoon was traveling northbound when his car left the roadway and went into a large ditch. Varney was pronounced dead at the scene. Somewhat, sadly, similar Of course, of an accident this morning here in McGoffin County, about 2.5 miles on Craft Creek. A man had been missing for hours. His family actually worried to the point that they had filed a missing persons complaint. Was found in his vehicle after residents awoke to daylight, finding him unresponsive in an SUV that had plunged a great distance over an embankment. This is the scene of this morning's accident, or possibly last night's accident. Either way, it happened during the darkness and was discovered just after daybreak this morning, shortly after 6 o'clock. A black SUV that had careened over this embankment 80 to 100 feet in height and into the creek below. Trooper Jimmy Stratton with the Kentucky State Police out of Post 9, who is handling the accident investigation, says that the driver, the only person in the vehicle, was pronounced dead on the scene.
When we arrived, the subject was pronounced 10-7. The vehicle looks like it failed to negotiate a curve, went over a large embankment and into a creek. The crash is still under investigation.
Officer Stratton also informed us that the victim's family had reported him missing, with Trooper Ryan Hale of Post 9 officially entering his name into NCIC as a missing person sometime around 2:30 this morning when he didn't return home and his family became worried about his safety. It appears as though during the overnight, late night, or early morning hours, he failed to negotiate this curve and went over the steep embankment. And while there were no other passengers in the vehicle, also in the car with him were 2 beagle hounds, one of which died as a result of the collision as well. Brian Parker, deputy coroner of McGoffin County, just a few moments ago confirmed the identity of the accident victim as 42-year-old Joe Allen of Middle Fork, who died due to blunt force trauma injuries sustained in that collision. The accident again being handled by the Kentucky State Police and Officer Jimmy Stratton. As of airtime, we do not believe that we have any funeral service announcements to be made in Mr. Allen's honor. Should those come in to the studio before I leave you, we'll have those tonight. If not, we will have those, of course, just as soon as they are forwarded to us. I'll be right back.
Appalachian Wireless wants to know if you're tired of settling for a phone you didn't really want because it was more about the cost of the device rather than the phone you really wanted. Well, Appalachian Wireless has the solution, and it's called the Appalachian Advantage. With Advantage, every phone model is back on the table because you only have to pay the taxes on the device you really want. Many of our hottest smartphones are less than $50 up front, then a few extra dollars on your monthly bill. With Appalachian Advantage. Payment agreement is required. See store for complete details.
Just like that, we've jumped into the spring allergy season with all the buds and blooms, tree and grass pollen, mold, and all the nasal congestion, sneezing, itchy nose and eyes and throat that they cause. Don't get caught off guard. Protect yourself daily with a quick trip to Parkway Pharmacy for over-the-counter and prescription relief. And you can always log into parkwaypharmacy.com to have your prescriptions ready when you get there at Parkway Pharmacy in Sayersville. Your new IGA has fresh brewed coffees and delicious donuts made 7 days a week. Daily made breads piled high with any meat or cheese you can think of. And come and taste the salads, broccoli and cauliflower, cornbread, and their gourmet chicken salad made fresh right here. They've got fruit and vegetable and meat trays made with a little love, and celebrate anything with perfectly professionally made cakes. All fresh and ready for your next meal, party, or event at your Sayersville IGA, where it's a new day, place, and way to shop. At Sayersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sayersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sayersville National. Of course, you can always get guaranteed great deals this time of year on mowers and weed eaters and blowers, but right now at Parkway Gun and Pawn, they've also got an incredible selection of hand and power tools, guitars, and musical instruments just in, new and used, long and handguns, and ammunition and more, with no pawn limits and cash today on anything you want to sell or pawn. Parkway Gun and Pawn. A Sayersville woman has been indicted in Floyd County for incidents that actually began in Johnson County, for which she was jailed and has remained jailed since this past March. a woman with a violent history towards police officers, has been documented through various stories and different incidents here on Your News Today and in the Sayersville Independent. Nevertheless, 29-year-old Jessica R. Minix has been indicted. However, not indicted on account of attempted murder of a police officer, for which she was originally arrested back in March after nearly running over a Johnson County Sheriff's deputy and then nearly hitting another one head-on in his vehicle. 30-year-old Jessica R. Minix of Sayersville, who's been jailed since the incident that took place last March the 30th that led to the indictment, has not been indicted on attempted murder of a police officer, but still faces up to 30 years for the felonies named in the indictment. She was arrested on March the 30th after she was in a vehicle along with two other men, one of those the driver, the Johnson County Sheriff's deputy, trying to make a traffic stop because of excessive window tinting. When the vehicle pulled over on 23, the officer started to exit his cruiser, and as soon as he did, the car took off and led them on a high-speed pursuit going on 23, Middle Fork, towards Floyd County on 114, until at one point the vehicle stopped and two men jumped from the vehicle and fled, as did Minix. The men kept on running. However, Minix then came back to the car, got behind the wheel, and then pointed it in the direction of the Johnson County Sheriff's deputy, nearly running him over had he not gotten out of the way. She also nearly struck another officer head-on in the vehicle as she fled the scene, until she was finally stopped and arrested. She was originally charged with attempted murder of a police officer. However, those charges were not presented before the grand jury. She was indicted, however, on wanton endangerment in the first degree, fleeing and evading in the first degree, trafficking in meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, a long list of traffic offenses, and still faces up to 30 years in prison on these charges. And a new week means a new calendar, brought to you, as always, by McGoffin Farm Bureau. First up, a reminder, flag football sign-ups for players and cheerleaders are underway and are happening again as soon as tomorrow. Moms and dads and kids in grades K through 3rd grade. Tomorrow from 6 to 8 tomorrow evening at the Sayersville Subway. This coming Saturday from 10 till noon in the McGoffin County High School Library. And then next Friday, the 26th, also 6 to 8 at the McGoffin County High School Library. And anyone interested in being a coach for one of the teams, call Jeff Lovely, Kim Rudd, or Andrea Parsons. Baptize Me with Fire. The Danny Roy Ministries are going to be at the altar here in McGoffin County on Highway 460 West. They're preaching this Friday and Saturday evenings at 7. Saturday afternoon at 1, they're having a big giveaway with free food, free clothes, free lunch, free shoes, and lots of other things as long as supplies last. That's at the altar on 460 West. Sayersville Grade School's got Camp Kindergarten coming up on this Friday, 10 in the morning until 1. They want you to come and that's for kindergartners, of course. Meet your teachers and classmates. If your child turns 5 on or before August the 1st, they're eligible to go to kindergarten, and that's where it all begins. And each kindergartner who shows up gets a free Eagle t-shirt, and, of course, lunch will be served as well. And we'll serve up your announcement, birthdays and anniversaries, too, right here on the Your News Today community calendar, brought to you every weeknight by McGoffin Farm Bureau. All you have to do is get that message and information to me, and we'll tell everyone about it. In this Monday's funeral service announcements, which is where we now turn, 68-year-old Yvonne Rudy Mullins of Big Branch passed away on the 12th, preceded in death by son James Lee Bailey. Visitation is the rest of this evening and prior to tomorrow's services that begin in the morning at 11 from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And 82-year-old Mylon D. McCarty of Laurel Branch passed away on the 14th, survived by his wife Lily and daughters Pamela Jean Bush, Pauline Marie Mullins, and Lisa K. Maynard. Visitation will be this Wednesday after 6. Services will be Thursday morning beginning at 11 from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Founded in 1974 on the idea that we all deserve and need the very best in medical services and patient-oriented care, but at reasonable prices we can afford, Big Sandy Healthcare and Hope Family Medical Center have also put together a team of professionals and providers, all at one location, all with you and your family in mind. With pharmacy, dental, lab and x-ray, pediatrics, adult medicine, behavioral health, and more. Come see us, for anything, at Hope Family Medical Center in Sayersville.
SSI and disability cases are harder to win these days. You need all the help you can get. If the government has turned you down, I will not. Many factors are considered when a claim is being processed, like your age, education, physical, and mental disabling conditions. When it comes time to winning your disability case, you should not face a federal judge alone. You need an attorney who is experienced, determined, hardworking, knowledgeable, and dedicated to helping you win benefits that you deserve. If you need help with your SSI or disability case, call me, Donald Wayne McFarland, and let me go to work for you.
Getting the best deal on the best tires with the best service has never been easier. Just log on to conleytire.net, check out the latest rebates, sales, and promotions, pick out the tires you want, and email, call, or come by. For huge savings from the family who's been proudly serving the area for over 32 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424. From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sagersville, 349-8785. We've got 2 extra special treats for you right now for a limited time at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. We've got all new milk chocolate chunk and white chunk macadamia cookies for a little extra treat after your meal. And back for a limited time, our famous loaded potato wedges. That's right, our fresh made potato wedges, cheese and bacon, and a side of sour cream if you want. For a limited time, only at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. If you haven't stopped by the seasonal shop lately, you're missing out. They've got new arrivals weekly and great deals every day, and the entire store has a fresh new look. Summer's here and the seasonal shop is ready for fun, sun, and the cutest clothes. They've got outfits for any special occasion you might have on your calendar or casual outfits for any day of the week. So come in and let them help you select the perfect outfit, and don't forget the jewelry. They've got a large selection of some of the most unique jewelry in the area, and they've got everything you need for your pool or beach days with bright, beautiful cover-ups and caftans, sunglasses, towels, and hats. And new patchwork Kentucky hats with a heart over Sagersville are the perfect way to keep the sun off your face. At Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop. Well, I left you Friday with a report that had a lot of mystery and unanswered questions attached to it. It still does to some degree, but we've been able to clarify a lot of what surrounded a situation in McGoffin County. Friday morning around 3 o'clock, there was a single vehicle crash on the Mountain Parkway. No driver to be found. That vehicle from, I believe, tagged in Kenton, Kentucky, but when the license plate was ran, it came back related to a golden alert situation related to a 63-year-old man from LaGrange who had been missing and whose body, as I would learn later on Friday afternoon, had been found in a park within just a matter of hours from when the vehicle, which was said to have been connected to him, was found here in Sagersville. However, after speaking with police at the LaGrange Department today, LaGrange Police Department, it appears as though there is no connection to the golden alert, but still unknown where the car came from and who crashed it on the parkway. I still do not have all of the answers, but we can say with some certainty that it appears as though the single vehicle crash that happened 3 o'clock Friday morning here in Sagersville on the Mountain Parkway is not related to a golden alert situation out of the Louisville or LaGrange area and a man's body that was found in a park in that area sometime around or near the same time. When this accident happened Friday morning at around 3 a.m. and McGoffin County 911 called Post 9 to run the license plate and information on the car, it came back tagged as related to a golden alert situation. A black man in his 60s from the Louisville or LaGrange area had a description of him, that this car was reported stolen and related to that case. However, in speaking with the LaGrange Police Department today, who is handling that case, they said that that individual, indeed, that I identified as Raymond Hinkle, 63 of LaGrange, had been involved in a missing persons case, and his body indeed was found in a park in that area late Thursday night, early Friday morning. However, there were no vehicles known to be registered to him at any time over the past several years, and they did not believe this vehicle to be involved with his case in any form or fashion. It's still uncertain as to how the information It's still uncertain as to how the information that was relayed to Post 9 and McGoffin County 911 had that link. But at this time, it appears as though this vehicle was actually stolen out of the Western Kentucky area, possibly related to a drug dealer, as far as possibly possibly by a known drug dealer who stole the car and then drove it through this part of Kentucky, crashed it, and then fled the scene. It's still uncertain as to who was behind the wheel of that car and where they went, as no one was in or around the vehicle upon arrival of emergency personnel. Law enforcement did find a large quantity of needles in the back, a large amount of jewelry in a Ziploc bag in the glove compartment, but at this time they have confirmed that that vehicle does not appear to be in any way linked to the missing man and ultimately the man's body, who was found at around the same time in the western part of the state. Now let's wrap up Monday's program with a bit on the weather. Heavy rains are moving into Arkansas today. They did not dump as much as 25 inches on Louisiana as what was expected. Louisiana is still seeing a lot of damage and a lot of flooding, just not to the catastrophic degree which everyone was fearful when we left you for the weekend. Those showers, as you're about to see, are expected to they are making their way into Kentucky, eastern Kentucky, maybe not as much. And then after those rains, the heat rolls in. Leftovers from Barry, Hurricane Barry, tropical storm, now tropical depression Barry, slowly making their way into the bluegrass. Showers and some storms associated with that. We're seeing some light precipitation in the form of some sprinkles and some light rain in downtown Sayersville as of right around the 6 to 6:30 time frame, and we'll see some more of that to continue. Western Kentucky possibly adding up to a little bit more than us over the next few days, but after a few days, it's going to be the heat that we'll be talking about. For Kentucky, we here in the eastern part of the state, still on the outside looking in for the most part. We'll see some rain and precipitation from tropical depression Barry, but western Kentucky looks to pick up more than what we will. 1 to 2 inches, a pretty good bet for those folks. We here in eastern Kentucky on the much lighter side of that, but some heavy rainfall could cause some issues for some Kentuckians. That rain to be followed by, for those who see it, that rain to be followed by some heat. Unlike we have seen thus far, we've got a 3 or 4 day stretch of the 90s looking at us later on this week and into your weekend. For now and for the rest of your Monday, continued mostly cloudy skies and about a 30% chance of some of those showers and storms, mainly before 8 o'clock or so. Then we'll see the sun return tomorrow. We're going to hold on to the mid and upper 80s tomorrow, take a dip, and then we're going to climb to the 90s. Tomorrow, 87 for your Tuesday. Partly sunny skies, winds noticeable, well noticeable, out of the southwest, anywhere from 6 to 10 to 17 miles per hour. A 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms at times throughout the entirety of your Tuesday. Looking into Wednesday, we'll back off just a bit down to the low 80s. We'll do so with, however, winds still coming out of the southwest, 6 to 8, 18 miles per hour at times. An 83-degree day, windy but partly sunny. Shower chances, well, a likelihood, and that's the reason mainly for the dip in temperatures. A 60 to really 65, 70% chance of showers and storms on your Wednesday. Taking us into Thursday, where they start to part, and that lets the sun and the heat build back. Partly sunny skies on your Thursday will hit 87, and a 30% chance of showers, pretty much mainly after 2 and throughout the rest of your evening. And then Friday is when the heat rolls in. Check it out. 3, possibly 4 days in the 90s. That's going to be the longest run we've had thus far. Sunny and hot and 91 on your Friday, totally dry. Ditto for your Saturday and for most of your Sunday as well, into the low 90s. Heat indices, of course, will make it feel much hotter than that, while we'll still hold on to a real 91 degrees on your Sunday, sunny and hot again, and a 30% chance of showers pretty much in the afternoon and evening on your Sunday. Temperatures holding close to 90, maybe right at 89 to 90 on your Monday again. Mostly sunny and a still 30% chance of some showers and storms. And that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Remember, City Council coverage for tomorrow. We've got Fiscal Court, Board of Education meetings this week, and a whole lot of other news, for all of which we hope you're here for. Thank you for watching, and good night.